Yeah, what you're seeing there is the CineBackLite. Well, CineBack to me means if you make a small mirrorless camera like this one into a bigger, fully fledged kind of camera where you can get all the power from one battery. So CineBack is a trend that has been existing for the past few years. Let me say, three to 4 years. Different companies have come back with different CineBacks, and by CineBack is this thing right here, this block. Other companies have crazier designs. I just like this specific design because it's designed to be relatively lighter than the other CineBacks. That's why it's called Lite. If you have smaller form factor mirrorless cameras like FX3, FX30, Lumix line of cameras, even Fuji or even Canon small R6 small form factor cameras, the CineBackLite looks that small right in the back. It has power source right there. There's USB-C, USB Type-C power out, and D Tap 2 as well. So 3 power outputs, and depending on how you decide to rig up your camera rig and power distribution, those are the only 3 options. And I like it because there's not too much going on. There's a power switch right around here, where you just switch on or switch off. Basically a switch that will enable all the power that's coming from this small little power distribution center up here. And if you turn it around, on this other side there's a screen holder for your mirrorless cameras, because most mirrorless cameras have this flip up screen. So for people who want to use bigger batteries, of course you have the option of having this smaller flip out screen protector or holder. The downside to that is that the design, there'll be more space in between the camera and the power supply base of the CineBack. You have 4 options. I went with a basic one that I think it fits mostly the FX3, but also fits the Lumix S52X, because this is a Lumix S52X. I like the portability, the fact that it makes the rig smaller and more compact. Of course, you need things like a plate at the bottom. Depending on what kind of plate you decide to go with will determine how far you put the flip up screen protector. You might decide to put it a little up or down. However, I'll also recommend the SmallRig 99 watt hour batteries, the ones that are almost 2.8 inch in width. They're pretty small. They're kind of different from the usual ones. I think they just kind of released this design which is slightly different, but this type would perfectly fit the CineBack. And I believe there's other brands out there that have a smaller form factor where the width is not as big. All in all, honestly, I've tried it on a few sets and I can't complain. But of course, question is, would it go on every set? Probably most likely not, but for the most part, probably documentary, doing B-roll, or probably interviews. So basically in the documentary B-roll interview world, this is how realistic this kind of setup could be. Putting this whole thing on a gimbal, I don't think that would work, because it gets, of course they say it's light, but the more batteries you put, monitors, cage, lens, it gets slightly heavier. But of course not as heavy as certain setups. So it's compact. If you're shooting full day interviews, it's clean. It makes the rig clean, and you can get enough power that can go for a long time. And you can always just shoot, you can always just switch V-mount batteries in between takes or in between interviews. So yeah, perfect for interviews, B-roll, or documentary kind of setups, or maybe short films too as well. So yeah, CineBackLite, I can't complain. If you found this video helpful, do consider to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.